Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rad's House of Horrors, the one stop shop for all things horror games, horror movies, and horror movie reviews. Today, Tier lists are back, baby, and we are ranking A Nightmare on Elm Street films, my favorite horror franchise out there, and potentially one of the greatest horror movies of all time in the original 1984 A Nightmare on Elm Street. I think this will be fun. Now, I want to make this clear first that Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite franchise, so I am going to be a little bit biased, have a little bit of certain opinions on things. If you disagree, feel free. Know that this is my opinion. Feel free to comment below and let me know what your rankings are. I would appreciate it, and we can have a chat about it, we can talk about it, and enjoy the franchise together. If you like the content, make sure to drop a like on the video, comment below what you think your favorite Freddy is, or your order, that's fine with me too, and subscribe to the channel. Enjoy my Nightmare on Elm Street tier list. Okay, everybody. So here we are with a tier list. We have the S tier, the A, B, C, D tier. We have the S tier being horror dream come true. What we always wanted in a horror film. What we think is a really amazing, nightmarish. Get what I did there? Horror film. Just perfect in my eyes in the Nightmare on Elm Street films. The A tier would be, well, Sweet Sweet Dreams. This is very, very good. It's very, very nice. They did great with this. They really made a great movie. I loved it. I loved the characters. I loved the movie. I loved everything about it. We got with the mid tier, which is Welcome to Primetime Meh. I thought it was a little nice, funny play on words with one of Freddy's iconic lines. And so that's mid tier. That's ones I like and I find watchable, but not necessarily my favorite movies of the franchise. Of course, we have the next one being Snooze Button Horror, where I could just fall asleep watching this and just be okay with missing it and not watching it again. And then finally, we have Straight to the Boiler Room, Hot Dumpster Fire, Hot Mess, ones that just I really don't want to watch at all. I really don't want to even talk about. And so those are the categories, and here we go. So the first one is the iconic 1984 classic horror film, Nightmare on Elm Street. Easily, no discussion here. Top tier, number one. It's just number one. It's got great practical effects. It introduces the amazing horror icon known as Freddy, which we all know and love. It's phenomenal. Johnny Depp's in this, Heather Langenkamp. Great, great characters. Great, great kills. Great, great build up of Freddy. Just making him a true demon, a true nightmare. Scary, scary thing that is a whole different concept under Wes Craven. A whole different concept of what we haven't had to this point in horror. So, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy is a great concept, great idea. Wes Craven came out with this film in '84. Something different in comparison to Friday the 13th and Halloween and Texas Chainsaw. Wes Craven came out with one of the greatest horror films of all time here. And it's recognized as one of that. The iconic bath scene where Freddy raises his claw up out of the water. Everybody knows what that is. Everybody's seen it, and everybody enjoys it. All right. So then we have the second one. We have A Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I'm going to put that in Welcome to Primetime Meh. This one, I can watch it and I can get by with it. But I don't think this one is anywhere by leaps and bounds close to A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. You don't even have Heather Langenkamp in it, so you don't continue her story. This is just one of those where, in my opinion, a lot of the times the second film is not the best at all in the franchise. It's kind of like every horror franchise has this one film that's kind of like, what? What is this? What is this? And that's this film. Freddy using someone else and possessing someone else and kind of sort of killing people is not really my thing. I'm not really for it. And I just didn't like this film. And I I like to watch it. I thought it was good as in terms of watching it, but it is definitely just watchable. It's nowhere near above any of the two tiers there. It is in the middle for me. It's kind of meh. It's like, okay, I can deal with not watching this. I'd watch it if you wanted to, but it wouldn't be one I'd pick up. It would not be one I'd pick up at all. All right, so we're coming to my personal favorite, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Dream Warriors is my favorite one. They bring back Heather Langenkamp for this one, and she does phenomenal. Wipes the floor. We get away where people are going to fight Freddy in the dream world, and they have powers, and they're Dream Warriors, and it's just very, very cool and done very, very well. Very great kills in this one. The puppeteer one, really good. The marionettes, like, phenomenal, phenomenal stuff. You get the iconic line, which is in the middle of that category there, but you substitute another word for it. You know what I'm talking about. Welcome to primetime, bitch. There's that. And you get that in that movie, and you just have a great, great way where they combine Freddy, they combat Freddy, and combine Freddy with a great protagonist in Heather Langenkamp, Nancy, and just finally put what I like to call what we thought would be the dagger to Freddy and would finally kill him. The best way to kill Freddy, kill him in the dream state. I said this about Jason as well, kill Jason in the bottom of Camp Crystal Lake, drown him there, leave him there chained, and there you go. That's the best way that I believe that you should end the franchise. Easily my favorite. I personally would even put it above the first one, but if you're going to honestly rank them, there is no way, based on impact nor movies, could you put the third movie, Dream Warriors, above that one by any means. Not at all, can I? I believe we have next one on the docket. We have a Nightmare on Elm Street 4, which is Dream. Is that Dream Child or Dream Master? Dream Master. We have Nightmare on Elm Street 4, the Dream Master. This one for me kind of is very, very difficult, but I'm also gonna put it in meh. I love Alice as a character. I think she is really, really good in this, and I think there's some really, really cool stuff. But again, I'm still in the space where I'm just like, no, it's not quite enough for me. It's not quite enough scary. It's not quite enough horror. It's where Freddy starts becoming a joke, and Freddy starts becoming comedy act. And for me, that's not what I wanted out of Freddy. I wanted that scary, dark, that scary, terrifying guy that comes in with claws and just tears you apart in your dreams, in your nightmares, and ruins your time, and ruins your life, and ruins things, and makes terrible things happen to you. That is what I wanted out of that. But Alice is pretty great, and if they decide to ever make another movie and bring her back, I agree with some other people and say that would be interesting. But I think if they ever did make a remake, like another Nightmare on Elm Street, that it should be Heather Langenkamp for sure. Now we're on to Nightmare on Elm Street 5. We got the Dream Child here. The Dream Child. This one is very interesting. Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Dream Child. I'm going to put in the snooze button horror. Other than the comic book kill and the Dan on a motorcycle, which is, in my opinion, the best kill in all of the franchise, I could care less for this film. I could care less for the film. I could care less for anything. Again, Freddy's too comical, and just, this is where it starts to go downhill for me. Terribly downhill. And then we get to Freddy's Ready, which I'm ultimately going to put in straight to the boiler room. I just don't like the film. I just don't like the film. It's too comic, too funny, it takes away from the scariness factor, in my opinion, that yes, Freddy had those one-liners, but he was still terrifying. He was still scary. but this became all jokes, and not really anything that had its substantiated horror and made me really scared. And the thing I said earlier was Freddy made me scared. Freddy made me worried. Freddy made me not want to sleep the next night or not want to sleep at night at all. So if I had a Freddy that did that, like the third one, like the original, that's how it is. And that's all I gotta say about this film is that it just didn't do it for me. It was comical. It made me laugh. Now, we have New Nightmare. I love this one personally. I think this one is very, very good. It's not quite as good as the other two, but the whole revamp to Freddy here, the whole let's make Freddy come from Hollywood. Let's make Freddy, be very, very truly scary. Let's change up his look a little bit, may add him some more. This is the Freddy that ultimately, compared to the other two, also made me scared. I was terrified of this Freddy when I first watched the films, and I watched them all in order. And this Freddy, I was really scared of and really truly terrified of. The first and the third one, absolutely. The New Nightmare, the way they made this character and the way that Robert Englund played himself and played this character, Freddy Krueger, all both in the same film, was really, really cool. And I just loved it, and I loved everything they did about it, and bringing in the child into it and making that a new thing that we get. Just awesome. Awesome storytelling and great way to do it. Next, we have Freddy vs. Jason, which ultimately Freddy vs. Jason, everybody should put him. I'm going to put him in Sweet Sweet Dreams because of the fact that it's Freddy vs. Jason. It's a dream matchup. I always wanted to have those films that were very, very I would say very, very great when it comes to being pit for somebody versus somebody. And Freddy versus Jason to me are the two most easy to put against each other, that they can manipulate each other and they could use each other's abilities and places to their own advantage, which you get in this film. Of course, I'd rather have Kane Hodder in here or CJ Graham even, in those two positions as Jason, but I don't think the guy that plays Jason in this film does terrible. I believe Freddy gets what's coming to him, and it's just a great, great, powerful film. But you throw Kane Hodder in there, and maybe even CJ Graham, and that becomes top tier horror dreams come true. So you want to see that fight, and it's just a massive kill spree for both of them, showing off their amazing abilities to both of them, showing off amazing talents, amazing horror from both sides, and both sides of them are powerful in this. And I love that. And then finally, we have, last but not least, the Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 remake with Jackie Earle Haley. I'm just not a fan of it. I was able to sleep through it, and I'm not the biggest fan of remakes. I'm not going to say you shouldn't remake anything, or you never should try, but leave it where it was. And at this point, I think Freddy was done. We didn't need another Freddy. We didn't need a remake Freddy. We didn't need another person other than Robert Englund playing Freddy. And it was just, the story was done at that point, and it was over with. Jackie Earle Haley did present a scary version, but when you're comparing it to Robert Englund, you're not going to get the same. You're not going to get the same. You're not going to have the same effect on you, and it just wasn't that terrifying to me. It wasn't that scary. I wasn't a fan of the Quentin character, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the effects. I didn't like anything from that film, and it just was not enticing to me. And I'm again not a fan of remakes, really. So with me not being a fan of remakes, I'm putting that in the snooze button. So that is all, but don't get me wrong. Freddy is an iconic horror character. He's my favorite horror character. but also the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is phenomenal and deserves well recognition for what they've done with the franchise and what they are known for. And Robert Englund has made himself a career out of being Freddy Krueger. So, I really think this is awesome and a really great thing. And this is my list in particular, same order I would put it if I listed out numbers. And I just think that this will have a lasting impact. The Nightmare on Elm Street franchise will have a lasting impact on all horror. So we'll continue with that. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you all. Thank you so much for being here, and I really do appreciate it. I know it's not everybody's favorite cup of tea. I know it's not, everybody's favorite franchise, and you may disagree with me, and you can feel free to disagree with me. I think that Nightmare on Elm Street is the #1 horror franchise of all time. And we're going to come out with a tier list video of my rankings of horror movie franchises of all time as well down in the future. But we are back with these, and we're going to start posting these more often as well on top of our indie horror. So hopefully you like that. And if you have, hopefully you have a good rest of your day or night. I'll see you in the next one. Oh.